All right, everyone, buckle up because the Blake Lively universe is serving up some serious drama this week. Yes, I know I'm a little late to the viral interview everyone's been buzzing about, but trust me, there's a lot more tea to spill. Let's start with Colleen Hoover, the mastermind behind It Ends With Us, who decided, out of nowhere, to drop a nail polish line. And let me tell you, the timing and tone could not be worse. Then there's Blake Lively's latest adventure in hair care. The reviews are coming in, and let's just say they're not exactly singing her praises. Now, is it because of her recent controversies? Are people biased, or is her product actually underwhelming? Either way, the reviews are starting to trickle in, and they aren't exactly raving.
I'm here to de-influence you from getting the Blake Brown line from Blake Lively. And I almost didn't even make this video because I'm honestly so embarrassed that I got it anyway. When I tell you that my hair has never felt so unhealthy in my entire life, what did she put in this thing?
If you're not Blake Lively, just keep scrolling. This video is only for Blake. It smells great. It's amazing. I only use the shampoo because everything else was sold out, and you don't believe in conditioner. And this is how my hair turned out. So I'm having a huge hair crisis right now. I know you're super busy with your premiere, but please help save my hair.
Packaging is just very clunky. This stuff's gonna be a nightmare in your shower. I'm so sorry.
Let's kick things off with a little trip down memory lane. Back to 2016. There's this reporter, and full disclosure, her name's a bit of a tongue twister.
First name is Sashti. I call myself Kirsty.
So, she did an interview with Blake Lively and her co-star that recently resurfaced, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride. Apparently, she's been sitting on this interview where Blake and her co-star were, well, let's just say, far from friendly.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
They are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it
Okay.
out.
I'm baffled. Why would they walk in with so much attitude? And here's the kicker, that should have been an instant icebreaker. But nope, they were as cold as an Arctic breeze. Let's be real. No matter how you spin it, this wasn't a good look. The situation only gets worse when you find out that the interviewer recently revealed she was struggling with infertility during those grueling press junkets. And it doesn't end there. Blake and her co-star then go on a rant about how men never get asked about what they're wearing, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the reporter's sitting there thinking, I'd ask the guys too. The hypocrisy is just staggering. I mean, all we've really heard from Blake Lively about this film is how she personally curated the outfits for her character, even borrowing her husband's clothes. Literally, the only thing she's been talking about is the wardrobe. So, for her to make this reporter feel so small for asking a basic question about the outfits, that's just mind-boggling. And then they go off on these tangents about fame and how being famous doesn't equal
I feel like
happiness.
it's the biggest misconceptions about fame and Hollywood in general.
The idea that people think that they know you, I think because of the how intrusive media is these days. People care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you. So I think the biggest misconception I see often is people feeling like they know someone that they don't. They know what the media has created of someone, and the disappointing thing is when you meet the people, they're always so much more awesome than they're portrayed to. I mean, that's normally my experience. And even people that are portrayed to be really great people, they're just a lot more complicated and interesting and nuanced and caring and thoughtful. That's always nice, to see that your idea of someone isn't always.
Are we swapping cards?
That's my phone. Hold on a
No,
second.
she wasn't saying she didn't like it. She was talking about you asked what perceptions
Yeah,
were,
yeah, yeah.
and she was saying that fame or success
There's
or
a
money
misconception.
doesn't equate happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so uncomfortable to watch. Seriously, why agree to an interview if you're just going to make it awkward for everyone involved? Their behavior was not only unprofessional, but just plain unkind. You don't treat people like that. So, the reporter decided to drop this bombshell interview on YouTube, making it public for everyone to see. She then did a follow-up interview with TMZ, where she explained why she finally chose to release it.
No, I've never got my tape confiscated, but of course I've had very unpleasant experiences. And we started talking about the Blake Lively interview, and then, I've never uploaded that to YouTube because I was kind of embarrassed by it. And I felt you know, in that situation, I felt a little ashamed at first because I didn't know what happened. I didn't know what I said that was so bad that made her and Parker behave like that. You know, I think it's important to let people know that these things goes on, and maybe it can help or prevent it from happening again. Someone said, "Oh, it's funny you're doing this now. Have you seen this other controversy?" And to be honest with you, I hadn't. I was invited to a press screening of the movie, so I'd seen the movie, but I had no idea about all the other stuff. And some of that now makes, I don't know. I can't really comment on it because I wasn't there, so I don't know the real story here. There is a reason sometimes why rumors, you know, will appear. For me, it was just a conversation starter. You know, she was sitting there. I think she was probably 8 months pregnant. She had it wasn't a small bump even. It was quite big. Just wanted to say it in a kind of disarming way, you know, congrats on your little bump. I don't understand still why that is offensive. I find it a little offensive that she said it back to me, to be honest with you. I was like, do I have a bump? Yeah, it was strange behavior to me. If she wants to apologize, that would be amazing. I think if you behave badly, if you own up to that and own it and say, you know, I had a terrible day, I'm so sorry.
Turns out she felt incredibly embarrassed and had been holding on to this interview for years. She didn't want to release it, but this was her moment, her chance to tell her side of the story, and she took it. Honestly, I feel really bad for her. She's been carrying this around for so long, and now she's just letting it all out. But, of course, this whole situation is all about Blake. I've seen a few of these confessions popping up.
I don't know if Blake Lively is a mean girl, but I do have a story about it. Well, about her. Like 10-ish years ago, I used to work as a stand-in and a photo double on Gossip Girl, and there was one episode that I met the whole cast besides Blake and Leighton, and I was talking to the PAs, and I said, "Oh, damn, I really wish Blake and Leighton were here. I would have loved to meet them. I'm such a fan of the show. Who wouldn't want to meet Blair and Serena?" PAs were all like, "Oh yeah, Leighton is so nice. She's so sweet. She's so fun. She's so caring." On and on and on about Leighton. They didn't say anything about Blake, and I very specifically said I would want to meet both of them, and they just gushed and gushed about Leighton and didn't say a word, nothing about Blake. You know the old saying, if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all, especially if you're a professional working with this actress. I don't know, that was always really weird to me, and now seeing all of this come out, Blakey, just be nice.
At this point, nothing surprises me about Blake Lively anymore. She's all smoke and mirrors, just one big facade. Honestly, I can't even remember hearing her say much of anything meaningful before all this. But you know what did catch me off guard? Colleen Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, deciding to launch a nail polish line. I stumbled across a Daily Mail article where they're saying she's getting slammed for it, and I mean, she's really catching heat. Not just for the idea, but because none of the proceeds are going to charity. No fundraisers, no acknowledgements, nothing. It's all just profit. This actually happened earlier this year, back in March. Colleen Hoover, a best-selling author, got dragged after she announced her collaboration with Olive & June, releasing a collection of nail polishes and press-on nails inspired by her novels. The shades, available at Target, are all named after characters and settings from her books. But the one that really set people off is called Brave Blush. Readers were quick to criticize her decision to release this book-themed nail polish, especially in reference to It Ends With Us. The latest uproar isn't Colleen's first misstep. Just last year, she was forced to pull an adult coloring book based on the same novel. After facing backlash for what many saw as an incredibly insensitive idea, she issued an apology and promptly ceased production of the book.
Because who woke up one morning and thought, you know what? Let's turn a book about domestic violence into a coloring book, because that's a wonderful idea. It's not. Like, what are we going to be drawing? Stairs? How do you illustrate domestic abuse? You don't. I'm at a loss for words. I just checked my Goodreads to see when I read this. September of 2017. I was 14. I tagged it as bad but still read. It's not a happy rom-com-y book. It's a dark book with sensitive topics about domestic abuse. You don't make that into a coloring book. I know I can't be the only one thinking this because I've seen so many videos, and Miss Colleen Hoover took the coloring book off her Instagram. Like, what?
I am confused why now. A novel about domestic violence. It's just tone deaf, to say the least.